सहना ववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome to this class of Taittiriya Upanishad. We are in the last verse of Anandavalli. So let's complete that first and then we'll move over to Bhruguvalli. So we were talking about various types of Gandharvas, human Gandharvas, divine Gandharvas, various types of gods. The gods who humans or other animals, when they do their karmas and when they reach to the status of devas. So they are also devas, but they are called karma devas. Then they are divine entities who were born at the time of when the universe was created. So those devas, maybe a deva, those devas are of a different category, different stature. Apart from those, or among those devas, some are certain important entities like Bruhaspati Deva, Indra Deva. So these are different categories of devas, and that's how the progress from a normal or common human being, how he can or she can transition slowly by doing sadhana, by doing Shastra Adhyayan, which is Vedas, Upanishads, and Bhagavad Gita, Brahmana Granthas, Aranyakas, practicing various karma kandas, yajnas, even tantras. So all these practices, slowly one can upgrade or update one's status. So that's what the goal of a human being is. Even animals, they don't know, but they are driven by a goal to be liberated, a goal of mukti. And goal of mukti is not a choice. We think that it's a choice. We don't want to pursue that. Even we discussed that other belief systems like Christianity or Muslims, they think that this is the only life and there is no life beyond. So even in their belief system, even they don't have choice. Ultimately, they'll be recycled. Ultimately, they'll go through the Atyantik Pralay, and that is the ultimate mukti or nirvana. So everybody has to go through that. It's like a movie. A movie is started, it has to end. Some characters may leave a particular movie early, but in the end, all the characters are contained or they cease to exist. So there is no choice. Meaning, ultimately, everyone has to have mukti or nirvana. But how we do it, that is our choice. So the mukti is not a choice, it has to happen. But how we do it, that is our choice. And that's where Upanishads and Vedas and Bhagavad Gita and all the Shastras and various rituals and practices and all those, they help in that regard. And the measure was given that once we update our status, meaning if somebody is human, now if that person is at the stature of Gandharva, so that joy of achieving that status is 100 times. Similarly, the ultimate joy, becoming Brahma, meaning, as I said, there is no choice. We have to go through mukti. We have to become Brahma ultimately. So that joy is 100 to the power of 10. So we can imagine, or we cannot even imagine. We can just go through that experience. Because if we ask Elon Musk, how joyful are you? Maybe he has answer, maybe he does not. But at least at our level, we can think that, oh, he can do all these things. He has this much material and wealth. So he must be in a joyful state. only he can say, but at least comparatively, he is maybe 100 times more joyful than us. Let's assume that. So even we cannot fathom that, we cannot experience that, we cannot just uh, put into words. So now multiply all these 1 and then 10 zeros times. That is the joy, or that is the happiness of being Brahma. Even this is not adequate. Rishi is just giving an example, but he just puts those things in words, because whatever happens after we have that sakshatkar of Brahma, nobody can say. Nobody. We cannot describe that in words. So this is best we can think of. So this fifth verse, sa yaschayam purushe yaschasavaditye sa ekah sa ya evam vit asmal lokat pritya etamannamaya matmana mupasankramati etam pranamaya matmana mupasankramati etam manomaya matmana mupasankramati etam vijnanamaya matmanam upasankramati etam anandamaya matmanam upasankramati tadapyesha shloko bhavati ityashtamo anuvakah. Meaning, he who is human and he who is in the sun are one and Brahma. One who knows this after leaving this world first steps into the self or Atman consisting of food, which is Annamaya Sharir, then steps into the self consisting of Prana, Pranamaya Sharir, then steps into the self consisting of mind, Manomaya Sharir, then steps into the self consisting of intellect or Vijnanamaya Sharir, then steps into the self consisting of bliss or Anandamaya Sharir. There is the following shloka about it, and this was the 8th Anuvaka. So once we know Brahma in this body, in this mind, in this life, and how can we say that we attain Brahma or we have that Brahma Sakshatkar? Rishi says that once you know that what is within and what is inside sun, meaning for us sun is the Narayana. So Surya Narayan, if you consider that Surya Narayan and yourself one and the same or equal to Brahma. Now these are just words, right? Currently these are just words that goes into our mind as a memory, that we have to believe. This is again belief system. We have to believe that what is within and what is inside the sun are the same. But do we really experience that? Once we get that experience, so that experience is the ultimate goal of any sadhana. Once we get that experience, then we no longer just are saying words. Those words are backed by our personal experience. And once we reach that stage, once we have that experience, that what is within and what is inside the sun, both are the same and both are Brahma, only then we get mukti or liberation. And what is the process? Once we leave the body with this experience, with this knowledge, then the Atma kind of unfolds all Panch Koshas. All the Panch Koshas are kind of, those are 5 avrana or shell. Those shells one by one, they are broken like coconut. That's why we do ahuti of coconut in yajnas, right? In the big yajnas, we sometimes use betel nut, sopari, right? But in major yajnas, we use coconut, because coconut is a fruit which has outer shell. Once that shell is broken, what is within is Atma, and there is nectar within coconut. We call it coconut water. but it's ultimately a nectar. Similarly, if we have this sakshatkar or Brahma sakshatkar, after that, after that experience, when it time is ripen, we leave this body, then the first Annamaya Sharira, we right away know. We know from the outer layers, right? This is my skin, these are various body parts, organs. Maybe somebody might feel organs from inside, possible. People who do Vipassana sadhana, they usually get that experience in one session only. One session is, I think, 9 or 10 days for them. In that sadhana, it's a place where you don't have phones, you don't have access to phones, you are not allowed to talk to anyone. Even your wife, you don't have to listen because your wife cannot speak if you are part of that sadhana. Nobody is allowed to utter a single word for 9 days or 10 days. And what they are taught? Just observe your breath, going in, going out, going in, going out. So I think majority of, at least the people who I know who went through that sadhana, they always say, do it once and you feel how your blood flows, how your breath goes in and goes to the various body parts. You feel your liver, you feel your heart, you feel your lungs. So all the body organs, you right away feel, you start feeling their existence. Right now we don't feel, right? If I say you have liver, okay, I assume, but do I really know that there is liver? Do I really know how it functions? Do I really know how it affects digestion? Its secretion of all the juices and digestion and how it stores fat and all that. Do I really know? No. I just know, I just believe, I have faith on science, but I do not experience that. But by doing Vipassana, we feel that every second. Blood, heart pumps, and that blood flows in various directions, we feel that. So that means we now know Annamaya Kosha. So next step is Pranamaya Kosha. What we breathe in is just air. But that air is kind of an envelope, right? So that envelope carries something that we don't know. We have no experience about that, but we call it prana. Prana is also, prana and rai, they come from Brahma. We have seen in Taittiriya Upanishad. Because of prana, there is life, there is consciousness. And rai is like all 8 elements. Prithvi, Jal, Vayu, Akash, Man, Buddhi, Ahankar. So 8, which is Apara Prakriti. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says. So Apara Prakriti is Rai, and Para Prakriti is Jiva. That is Prana, comes from the Prana. So when we say eat fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, because they have more Prana. If you put into deep freezer, frozen state, they still retain some Prana, but not as good as fresh fruits. And that's why it is recommended to use fresh. Similarly, anything that does not have proper prana, we must not consume. We always look for better prana. We consume, I think, 50% of the items in today's world, or even more, even as simple as milk. We don't even drink fresh milk. The milk that we drink, there is expiry date, but the milk was produced maybe 3 months back. We don't know. So does it really carry prana? Very, very little. Do we have a choice? No. We cannot have a cow at our home and then just do all that. But if somebody has that choice, we have to do that. At least in many ashramas in Bharat, they still have cows, and they get or consume fresh milk, fresh curd, fresh ghee and all that. So it's very important. Even many people in America, they are fond of growing some plants, right, in backyard, at least during summertime. At least for that time period, we get some fresh vegetables and fruits. Right? So it's better. So that pranamaya kosha, that is energy channel through air. So when we breathe something in, that goes to the lungs, and from lungs it is carried forward in all the body parts. So that is next step, that is pranamaya sharir. Because oxygen, we see that air has oxygen, and because of oxygen we live, because that's how life has sprung on this planet. So for us oxygen is important, but oxygen is not the only entity. We cannot just take organic molecules, pump oxygen and make it living entity. It's not possible, right? Even though all the organic material is there, just pumping oxygen, it will not become alive. So there is something beyond oxygen, and that is prana. And because of prana, life is expressed in organic molecules like our cells, our annamaya kosha. So that is pranamaya kosha. Next avrana, next kosha. Third, it's manomaya kosha. We call it brain actions, all the chemical secretions that happen in the brain in modern terms. But that is governed by not brain but something called mind. And how can we explain that? If look at brain as an organ, right? So that organ, are we able to control it willfully? Switch on happy chemicals, turn off pain chemicals. Is it possible? No. Because brain is just an organ, but there is something beyond that called mind, mana. That mana is the reason for all the joys and happiness and pain in this world, right? So that is manomaya kosha. And manomaya kosha, next is vijnanamaya kosha, the cognitive, the consciousness, which governs the mind, mana. Modern science cannot describe it yet. We don't have instruments, we don't have measurements to test where is vijnanamaya kosha. But that kosha knows that we are interconnected. Like movie Avatar, right? That series of movies, they are talking about it. They have some hair braid and they connect everything through that. But it's basically Vijnanamaya kosha. They connect everything together. So that Vijnanamaya kosha is one and the same. Maybe modern science, when it talks about quantum physics, quantum, those particles, they are trying to express that it is one in the same. So that Vijnanamaya kosha. And Gautama Buddha, when somebody asked, how many layers are there in the mind? Then he said, for all practical purposes, 3. But if you start peeling, it's even more than 70,000. So it's that complex, which we don't know. But Gautama Buddha experienced that. And this is his method, Vipassana sadhana. So that is the 4th layer. And after that is Anandamaya Sharira, bliss, which is ultimately the Atman. So Atma is, in its individual form, is Anandamaya kosha. It is still individual. It is still covered by Maya. There is some iota of Maya. So there is Anand, bliss. But even beyond that is Brahma. Even though Atman is part of Brahman, but there is still slight distinction. It is still not Brahman. So that is Anandamaya Sharir. And once all these 5 koshas, 5 avranas are broken, then the ultimate reality or the real reality, that is Brahma. So these are all experiences. Now somebody would argue, if I don't have Brahma Sakshatkar, what happens? Maybe these are the different levels. depends upon the sadhana of this life, where we can reach. Somebody can break the Anandamaya kosha, then in the next life, he or she will start from there. If somebody can break the Pranamaya kosha, then next life will be that two koshas are taken care of, now work on the next three. So these are the progresses. And that's why you might have heard a word called Yoga Bhrashta Atma. When somebody is on the sadhana of Ashtanga Yoga or any sadhana, and if that sadhana ultimate goal is Brahma Sakshatkar, if that is not achieved in this lifetime, so that becomes Yoga Bhrashta Atma. That means whatever he experienced in the life, he is going to get to the next level after this life. And in the next birth, he'll start from where he left off. And he is considered Yoga Bhrashta Atma. That means he is on that path and he couldn't achieve the ultimate goal. Now, this final verse of Brahmananda Valli, it's kind of nirvana. 9th Anuvaka, no fear, no duality. And the verse is, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha anandam brahmano vidvan na bibheti kutaschaneti etam ha vava na tapati ki maha sadhu na karavam ki maham papa makaravamiti saya evam vidvanete atmana sprunute ubhe yevaisha ete atmana sprunute ya evam veda ityupanishad iti navamo anuvakah. Meaning, he who knows the bliss of Brahman, which the mind is unable to grasp, and before whom all speech fails, he never fears anything. He never agonizes thinking, why did I not do the right thing? Why did I perform this sinful act? He knows all this spring from the great Atman. Good and bad, both of these indeed spring from Atman. He knows this. Thus says the Upanishad. Thus was the 9th Anuvaka. So once we know Brahma, once we have that Sakshatkar, which mind is unable to grasp, all the speech fails. As I said, even other Upanishads are also saying, Brahma, what is Brahma? One cannot say that. One cannot describe that. Mind just cannot handle it. So, but once that experience is there, then we are not fearful. Right now, even though somebody would say that I am on the path of righteousness, I do dana, tapa, japa, homa, all those practices, but still, we have some degree of fear in ourselves. We are, even though we may not admit, even though our mind may not admit, we all have some degree of fear that if I don't do this, what will happen? If I don't do that, what will happen? Is this right? Somebody would say right or wrong? That somebody would be your parents, your siblings, your spouse, could be anybody near and dear to you, or your friends or society or anybody else. So this degree of fear will be walled off once you have that experience. What is right, what is wrong, what is bad, what is good, what is righteous, what is sinful, all this, they all come from duality. There is nothing sinful in this world. There is nothing pavitra in this world. Everything is one and the same, and just the action of Atman. Because Atman has forgotten who he or she is. Because of Maya, there is right and wrong. Because of Maya, there is good and bad. Because of Maya, there is pavitra and apavitra. There is sin and there is righteousness. So all these will be gone once we have that Sakshatkar. Logically, if we think, if everything is within Brahma, if Brahma pervades everything, then what is good and what is bad? Right? Everything is expression of Brahma. Who are we to decide? Let Brahma decide. but we created these social norms. We have to. Again, that is Maya, right? But without that, it will become chaos. If there is no constitution to follow, if there is no certain rules to follow as a citizen, what will happen? It will create chaos. Is it right or wrong? We don't know. Whatever base somebody has decided, we are just following that. But can we be free from that? Yes. Maybe not in USA, but if you go to Bharat, there are many people. See, in modern world, we wear certain clothes because everybody does that. If somebody wears a sari nowadays, or somebody would wear dhoti as a man, then somebody would look at, are they drama players? Are they normal human beings or not? They would think like that in modern world. If I wear dhoti and meet somebody, they would think maybe I have become crazy, maybe I am taking part into some drama or play. They would not expect or accept me that I can wear dhoti. Why? Because it's a society. It has become norm. People started thinking differently nowadays. But 100 years back, see, we are not wearing any cap or hat or pagdi, right? But just 100 years back, open head was considered bad, even for women. They had to wear hat or something. Man had to wear pagdi or topi or whatever, right? But nowadays, everybody is open hair. In old times, married women must have braided hair. Only a widow or young girls would have open hair. But nowadays, the things have changed. So societal norms are changing. Who is right? Who is wrong? Nobody is right, nobody is wrong. It's just the flow of the society, the flow of the culture. Something was right back then is not right now. Something that is right now right may be wrong in coming days or coming years. So it keeps changing. So how can we say this is bad or this is right? How can we say this act is sinful? We say that by constitution that we can marry. Polygamy is prohibited, right? Everywhere or major part of the world. But still there are many tribes who practice polygamy, right? So are we there to decide whether they are sinful? No. It's their culture. It's how they evolve. We cannot judge anything. But are we allowing them to live non-judgmental life? No. We are so much bogged down by our own ideas or prejudice in this world. But once we have this experience, we know for sure that all these are just Chitta Shakti Vilas, meaning play of consciousness. And it expresses differently in different times. It's the expression of Brahma. We are not to decide anything. So be free from any prejudice. Even dharma, what we call Hindu dharma, we have to follow certain things. Is it right or wrong? Right? If we compare, just for comparison purpose, look at what we do today. Different artis, different steps of karma kanda. Now go back and read any Purana. What do they say? Even we are not following Puranas, who were maybe written 1,000 years or 5,000 years back. We don't know. But at least they are modern texts compared to Vedas and Upanishads or even Bhagavad Gita. So even we are not following those. Even our Shastras, the way they described how to celebrate Deepavali, we are not following that. So we are already not following what is prescribed. Then what we follow today is the real Hindu Dharma? We cannot say for sure. So these are all prejudice. Maybe what we are following today is because of the influence of many saints, many great people who lived some 500 years back. Because of their influence, our dharma is like this. But these are all again prejudice. So then what is real? And that's why it is very important as an individual, as a follower of Sanatana Dharma, to follow any sadhana. If you find a guru, great. If you don't have a guru, at least start practicing dhyana or ashtanga yoga. So that sadhana will eventually take you or lead you to the right path. And you will be free from any prejudice. When we say, I pray Narayan, I pray Mahadev, I pray Adi Shakti, I pray Ganesha, Ganesha is my Ishtadev, who is right and who is wrong? Somebody, Christians would say, oh, it's Jesus and Holy Trinity. Muslims would say Allah. So who is right and who is wrong? Who are we to decide? But as I think we discussed before, we are not there to decide anything right or wrong. But if somebody tries to impose their ideas on us, we must defend. We at least must do that. You are right, but I am not wrong. At least we need to make sure that the other right does not corrupt us or corrupt our mind. Because whatever we follow, it's our individual sadhana. And nobody else has right to say this is right or wrong. And we must defend. And that's why dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. If we protect our dharma, dharma will protect us. And this is Brahmananda Valli.
There is right and wrong because that's what karma is. So
no, karma does not say it's right or wrong.
A good karma, bad karma.
No, these are just prejudices. What karma, theory of karma is, what you do will create a result and you are bound to experience that result. Right?
Yes, but cheating someone, for example,
Right.
is going to, it is going to make you go through suffering.
Yes, that's your choice.
So, but that is bad karma, right? That's why you're suffering, not having pleasure.
Well, think it this way. It's your choice to do certain things, right? If you cheat somebody, let's consider it is bad karma. You are going to suffer, but for some brief period of time, you got some joy. You got some wealth by cheating somebody, right? So is it really bad? It is a mixture of good and bad. Nothing is good 100%, nothing is bad 100%. Put it this way, everything is mixture of sattva, raja and tamas. It is a combination of three gunas. In some karma, sattva is more. In some karma, rajas is more. In some karma, tamas is more. And the way we experience it depends upon these three gunas. So when we say tapa or dana, even dana can be categorized three ways. If you look at Bhagavad Gita, it very beautifully explains this. If we give somebody supatre danam, right? We always say supatre danam, meaning who is worthy of getting dana, always give him or her dana. So that is sattvic dana. And there are kupatre dana, that is also dana, but that dana has different effect. But again, that is our choice. If some beggar comes to me and asks money, should I give that beggar money or should I give that beggar food? For that beggar, his life is very miserable, right? I know that if I give him money, he is going to consume alcohol, right? I know for sure, if I gave him money, this is going to happen. Should I give him food or should I give him money? Look at it this way. If I give him food, he is anyways going to get food. He is beggar. He is always going to get food from anywhere. Majority of people will give him food, not money. But if I choose to give him money, if he gets alcohol, now look at his life. His life is miserable. He does not have any joy in his life. We have so many options of having happiness and joyful, right? If I give him money, he gets alcohol, he gets joyful for 8 hours. Did I good right or wrong? Right? I gave him joy, which is more than food, right? Having food will affect maybe 2-3 hours, but I gave him alcohol by money, so he got joy for 6-8 hours. So what is better? We cannot decide, right? So it's our choice. So any karma is like that. You say, I breathe in, I have to live, that is a karma. But we are killing millions of bacteria and virus. Is it a good karma or is it a bad karma? I cannot live without breathing. I have to breathe in. If virus and bacteria are killed, it's collateral damage. I cannot do anything about it. It's bad for them, right? So every karma is a mixture of sattva, rajas and tamas. Cheating also. I cheat somebody. It gave me joy for some time. That's my choice. It gave me wealth for some time. I should be ready for consequences, for sure. Even if I am not ready, I will get the consequences. But that's my choice.
And it's bad consequence because it's a bad.
I'll be jailed. But that's an opportunity to become good, isn't it? If I don't cheat, these are all hypothetical, right? Don't follow it literally. I chose to do cheating because I do not know certain things. My idea of world includes cheating being right. Then only I'm going to cheat, right? But that's not what will take me to the path of goodness. Why goodness is important? Because goodness or sattva will shorten my journey of getting mukti. Mukti is choiceless. I am going to get choiceless mukti. I'm going to get mukti without my choice. But path is my choice. And whether I should burn karmas fast or slow. Ishvara or any form of Ishvara is very much like mother. Mother wants all good things for children. And that's why that force, that universal force or consciousness wants to push us into faster path. And that's why goodness is important. There is a story. I was passing by a forest. Now I encountered 3 thugs. In those times, old times, thug used to loot wealth and would kill whoever possessed that. So these 3 thugs, they saw me, they captured me, took everything. And one thug wanted to kill me because that's how they operate. They don't want any evidences. So that thug that who wanted to kill me was tamogun. Second thug said, doesn't matter. We already looted. Now this is forest. Even though he says something, there is no witness. It's no harm to us. Just tie him. Let his life. So that is rajogun. Third thug, he said, why should even we tie him? He'll be lost in this forest. Better show him the path and show him the path to his village. That is Sattvagun. Sattvagun carried me out of the forest. That is your village. But Sattvagun will not come to the village because even that is thug, right? Guna, any guna is thug. That guna cannot come when there is mukti. That village is the mukti. The forest is maya. And these 3 thugs, their different thought process is different gunas. But they are part of Maya. They cannot cross that boundary. So even Sattva Gun, we ultimately have to shed off even Sattva Gun. And that's what Rishi here says that. Now, let's look at Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga starts with Yama. Okay? Satya, Ahimsa, and all those. Those virtues. Why those virtues are important? Because then our mind becomes steady. If we cheat somebody, our mind will constantly be in a notion. Everybody knows, right? Even though my world includes cheating being an action that is acceptable, even then I know that this is wrong. Somewhere inside me, somebody will tell me that this is wrong. Even if somebody inside me does not say this is wrong, the consequences I face will teach me a lesson that whatever you did was not right. Why it was not right? Because your journey will be miserable if you follow that path. And that's why it is bad. Otherwise, that action is not bad at all. Very confusing, right? What is right and wrong? How can we decide?
We are still saying sattva is good and tamas is bad here. So there is
Yes,
good and bad in what we are saying.
but that action is not good or bad. If we look at Brahma, in that context, nothing is bad, nothing is wrong. It is wrong within that boundary of the forest, in that Maya. But we have to cross that. So, to cross that, there is nothing wrong or right. Meaning, we have to be free from any prejudice, is what the ultimate thing is.
But without that sattva, it could not have crossed the forest. Without
Right.
the sattva.
And that's why that sattva is the first step in Ashtanga Yoga, the first step. But if we are on that journey, yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, in these 4 steps only, we'll be free from any prejudice. Once we have mastered all these 4 first limbs, then there is no prejudice left. Then there is no good or there is no bad. Everything is acceptable. It's just complete surrender. Ishvara Parinitan, it is part of that. So, once we surrender everything to God, once we assume that everything is done by Brahma, everything is done by Sri Krishna or any God you like, any form you like, that is ultimate. It is his or her will. Right? Everything is play of consciousness. Then it is not our will. It is his or her will. Sattva Guna is important because we don't want to disturb others. We don't want to disturb ourselves. If I cheat somebody, ultimately I'll end up in a jail. I'll not have all the wealth, I'll not have all the tools, I'll not have all the time to do my sadhana. Only for that purpose it is bad. Otherwise there is no bad or right or wrong. Killing someone is bad, right? But if we ask soldiers who are fighting at the border, is killing right? They would say yes, I have to kill enemies because that's his or her dharma. So killing is bad, again that is contextual. Similarly, cheating is bad, that is contextual. Narova, Kunjarova. Yudhishthir had to say that in Mahabharata war. That was cheating, right? Even that was cheating, it was ultimately proved to be good because of that, Guru Drona was killed. If he hadn't said that, Guru Drona would hold the fort, would not let Kaurava defeated.
So yeah, everything might have some exceptions based upon the circumstances.
No exceptions. These are all contextual. Everything has something right, something bad. It's a mixture of both.
But just to make others cause suffering for others is always bad, isn't it? Yeah.
If somebody is suffering from terminal disease, killing that person is right or wrong?
in that case, so like
So it is contextual, right?
in general though, in general it is bad.
Right.
I would think.
If we roll back history 10,000 years, majority of humans were cave dwellers. In that context, what was right and what was wrong? Can we apply those same rules in today's world? So it's again, everything is contextual. And we have to just follow what is right and wrong in Vartman, what is in current age. Whatever is right or wrong in current age, because we want to be free from that. If we do not, if we just keep indulging about this is sinful, this is good, this is bad, and there is a conflict. Because what is right for me is wrong for you. Consuming meat is good. Majority of the humans consume meat today. Is it right or wrong? If I say this is wrong, will it not create conflict? Eh? But it is bad for me. That's good enough. It is bad for me. I'll stay away from meat. So I am avoiding conflict. I am fast forwarding in my journey of sadhana. I don't want to be in petty conflicts. I don't want to waste my energy. So move on. Ultimately, that's the goal. Move on. What is right, what is wrong, whatever best you can think of, whatever best you can act, do it. Rest, leave to Brahma. Complete surrender. Yeah, we can continue discussing because I think we don't have enough time to start Bhruguvalli, which we can do next. So all the rishis, all the sannyasis, all the great people, Mahatma, they always say, have daya, compassion, be good to others, help others, because ultimately your mind will settle down, will calm down. If you don't help others, if you don't follow daya, tap, dan, all these actions, you will create conflict outside in the world. You will also create conflict within yourself. Because someday, if my daughter wakes up and says, I want to do this, I can explain her. She will again believe me. She'll have faith in me and will follow what I say. A neighbor comes and says, I'm going to do this now onwards. Should I fight with him or her? If I do that, it will keep going on. Unnecessarily, I'll waste my energy. So focus on what you can do. Focus on what your near ones, dear ones can do, and leave the rest. Unless you are at the level of someone who can influence society. Some great people like governor of the state or president of the country, prime minister of the country. Those people who can influence greater humans, they can dictate what is right and wrong for the whole society. But they are also limited by their country. They cannot say something to the whole world. Someday Prime Minister Narendra Modi would say, okay, this is good for humanity. Will other countries accept? No, it will create conflict. So what he should do? Focus on Bharat only and leave the rest. So don't generate unnecessary conflict. And that's why following good thing is better. Again, that is contextual based on where we live, in which yugas we live, meaning which time we live, which society we live. Sthal and Kala. Sthal, place, and Kala, time. So depending upon place and time, follow what is good and what is bad. That is the first step in Ashtanga Yoga, so that we can continue our journey in other parts of Ashtanga Yoga. We don't want to spend unnecessary times. Life is short, even though 100-year life would feel short. Because one example, if somebody says, okay, if you do this mantra, if you invoke this mantra, you'll get this siddhi. If it is panchakshara mantra, meaning 5 letter, it will take 5 times 100,000 repetitions. Now repetition, just chanting? No. Complete devotion, complete surrender in every chant. Such 500,000 chants will invoke that mantra. How much time will it take? Maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. So if you look at this time frame, life is short, and that's why we want to avoid conflict and continue our journey peacefully. We want that thug who would lead us out of the forest, because our goal is to reach the village. We don't want to be lost in the forest, and that's why sattva gun is important. But it is good, it is bad, it's contextual. Thug is after all a thug, right? So we can stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.